how we gonna start off the stream. First things first. The good news is gaming is in a great space. The Switch 2 is breaking all types of sales records. This year's been, which we're going to talk about in a moment, which is, for the sake of this article, I'm going to say, fiscally, we're in a good spot. Gaming's in a great place. Oh, you got the link for the vinyl. Appreciate it. This year's been a release of just banger after banger after banger. It's probably going to want to be one of the most competitive Game of the Year contests in a long time. But unfortunately, for all the good that's been done in society, some bad is back, ladies and gentlemen. That's right. The Soulja console is back and been rebranded as the Retroid. That's right, the Soulja console OLED is here, ladies and gentlemen. Soulja console Ultra. Rapper Soulja Boy is once again trying to sell a game console, this time selling what looks to be a rebranded Retroid Pocket Flip 2 under the name Soulja Game Flip. In a post on Instagram, the artist, known for his 2007 hit song Crank That, can be seen showing off what appears to be a Retroid Pocket Flip 2. He said the device is actually a new Soulja Game Flip console that is out right now and can be bought from his website. He said it has all the games you need, a fast processor, and good graphics. Is this the actual post? Why can't it let me? I want to see what it looked like. Let's see, let's search that shit. There we go, the Soulja Flip. Yeah, I've seen these things like on the TikTok shop. This is just a generic Chinese emulator that he's putting his name on. The Soulja. Oh, what he saying? Hold up.
Right now, what's poppin'? It's your boy Soulja Boy. The new Soulja Game Flip is out right now. www.souljaboy.net. You know what I'm saying? Everybody go tap in. You got all the games you need on here. Wi-Fi, fast Wi-Fi.
He reading the features off the damn menu. Yeah, this is just a regular Android emulator that he rebranded. Yo, shout out to Royal Static with the sub. Is there any other more pictures? Okay, it come with a USB-C cable. Okay, that's different. Okay. That comes with more USB cables than fucking iPhones these days. Okay. More charging cables than that. Okay, they got the translucent Soulja console. They got the white, the black. Who copping, chat? Who copping? You could get one of these off the TikTok shop or the goddamn website. These usually play games, because I have one of these. Not this specific model, but some other one. A lot of these, usually you can go all the way up to like Switch games they can emulate. They're pretty good things, but what happens is he's taking a generic Chinese emulator and then he's marking it up by including his name on it as if it's some type of original product. Okay, it's got the 178 full hinge motion, bro. It's got a lot of motion, which makes sense because it is Soulja Boy. It's got a lot. You said this look clean, low key. Okay, but you could probably get it for like $50 cheaper without it being called the Soulja console is what I'm saying. Soulja Boy was originally selling his console for $436, over twice the price of the $200. See, double the price. This cost $209. Like I said, it's a nice handheld. I've seen these before. But since news began to circulate about the rebranded device and its hefty price tag, the price seems to have slashed to $200, actually making it cheaper than buying the device directly. Also, if you're going to spend $400 on an emulation device, you might as well just get a Steam Deck. Then you can play PC games and emulate. There's no reason to go that high on the price for strictly just an emulator, or you can just play the emulators off your PC. The website where the Soulja Game Flip can be ordered shown images that look to be taken straight from the Retroid's own website, only with some additional images showing white packaging that say Soulja Game. Even the names of its different console colors of the Soulja Boy website are the same as that of the Retroid Pocket Flip 2, including the GameCube-inspired GC color scheme. The console store page description states the Soulja Flip is the ultimate handheld gaming console endorsed by Soulja Boy. Retroid Dodo reached out to Retroid about the whole affair and received an official statement that made clear Soulja Boy is selling repackaged Retroid Pocket Flip 2s and not any kind of official partnership. This is not any kind of official licensing deal, Retroid said. He does not have permission to rebrand our products and sell them as his own. The Retroid Pocket Flip 2 is patented in the US by ourselves. Shout out to Black Math Nerd with the sub. I would say I feel bad for this company, but I don't care because, I mean, A lot of these emulation devices are sketchy in themselves because they come preloaded with a lot of stuff on there. Remember, guys, emulation is legal. And that's why whenever I emulate, I actually dump the files onto my PC and then I use an emulator because I just prefer to have the upscaled 4K. But I would never buy a device online preloaded with games that I don't own. So for them to be upset that he's stealing the stuff, I'd be like, you guys are technically stealing too, so whatever, bro. I think the real highway robbery is the fact that he's charging double. That's the actual issue. Like, yeah, we're law-abiding citizens over here. This is better than the last console you put out because it's a proven product, but still wouldn't buy this shit. You only buy this for somebody you hate.
Why do people resubscribe to the idea?
Like your little nephew.
BBC.
Shout out to Creative Crowd with the sub. Like your little nephew in your family that you fucking hate, his little badass who don't listen when you gotta watch him. He love fucking knocking down your Legos when you got that rare $200 Star Wars kit for Legos. You building it. He's supposed to be sitting there watching Lion King. He come over and knock your whole Lego set over when you halfway done, 3/4 done. That little nigga, this is who you buy him. You buy him a Soulja Flip 2 and make him play Lion King off the fucking Sega Genesis and the Super Nintendo just to punish him. This for sure is a troll gift. Just make sure to get the $200 version, not the $400, because he marking that shit up. This nigga's down bad. So yeah, watch out for the scam, the Soulja game. You know, doesn't sounds personal. Nah, never that. It is out here scamming. What's not scamming is the Nintendo. Earlier I mentioned it, but let's talk about it a little bit more. News is broken that the Switch 2 is the biggest console launch ever. Now, normally I would hit this is great. You got clowns on the internet saying gaming is dead, but the finances say otherwise. For people who claim they don't have nothing to play, you sure are running out there buying a whole lot of games. Somebody's lying. But the problem is, before the launch of the Switch 2, a lot of you said you weren't going to buy it. You said it was too expensive. The games were too expensive. Also, it wasn't pro-consumer because most of the games don't come on the cartridge. It's just a downloadable version once you get the cartridge. And a lot of you said you were going to protest. Me personally, I said I'm not buying this shit until I see a game that I really want to play, which is the From Software game I can never remember the name of. I want to call it Bloodborne, Blood Mask, Blood Spawn, Blood Booty. I don't know. Dust Bloods. The Dust Bloods. Until Dust Bloods comes out in 26, I'm not buying a Switch 2. And you know, for a split second, it honestly felt like the internet was truly upset about the Switch 2's release being anti-consumer, because also they said you can't mod it in any kind of way. You can't open it up. That'll instantly make it stop working. But within the first month of it being released, it sold like 3.5 million units, physical units, which is the fastest selling console in recent memory. And it looks like with it being out for 4 months and 10 million sold, it's on record if it keeps moving at this pace, because it could slow down, to be fair. But right now, it is on record to being the best-selling console launch ever. Now, why am I bringing this up? This goes back to a conversation I had on stream yesterday when we were talking about the problem, at least in the United States, is capitalism, consumerism from the people's standpoint, corporate greed, and then consumerism. There's a lack of self-control, and it's given a lot of power to corporations and politicians. And time and time again, I give examples on the stream of how your money matters and people just dismiss it. And one of the conversations we was having, we was talking about Grand Theft Auto 6. And I just threw a hypothetical joke out there, right? I said, because we were talking about Grand Theft Auto potentially firing some people that were they fired reportedly 40 people within Rockstar that were trying to form a union. They were trying to get better pay because the rumor is that Rockstar overworks and underpays their employees. So some people were trying to form a union. Somebody snitched on the group and they all got fired. So now there's a lawsuit against Rockstar going on. And I argued in the United States right now, if this lawsuit could win equal or higher pay for everybody, like most people's, but in exchange, you can't get Grand Theft Auto 6. It gets delayed. Most Americans still wouldn't take the better pay. You would still rather consume Grand Theft Auto 6. And I said the only way we could guarantee, because some people are like, that's a no-brainer. I was like, no, it's not. It's only a no-brainer and a guarantee if the increase in pay and wages is like 50% or more. Like if you go from making $20 an hour to $40 an hour, then I think most people will stop. But if it's like $1 to like $5, like a slight pay increase, and it's guaranteed, the average person, even if you can, you can go from making fucking 30 to 35,000 in the very same year. Most people will not take that money. No, I need that Grand Theft Auto 6. These people are like, that's fair, that's fair, that's fair. This is an example. This is an example. The internet sat up here and said, oh, I don't like what they're doing with the Switch. The shit's overheating in people's laps. They're overcharging for the price of games, $80 games. For games, by the way, the frame rate's already dropping in year one. We're 4 months into the release of this shit, and Donkey Kong is already dropping on frame rate. What you think gonna happen 2-3 years down the road when the games, when that PS6 come out and that new Xbox come out? And this is officially, because this is the dawn of a new generation, the Switch 2. When that PlayStation 6 come out and we got graphic, mind-bending games that got to get ported over to the fucking Switch 2, we're gonna have another Mortal Kombat 1 situation on our hands when it comes to the Switch 2 because it's underpowered. There's no new innovation on the Switch 2. This is probably the most uninnovative Nintendo product ever put out. And I understand the Switch is one of the greatest selling consoles of all time, but the Switch was innovative. It was cool. It was different. Taking console gaming on the go. I'd argue without the Switch, we wouldn't have got the Steam Deck. You see what I'm saying? But the Switch 2 is lazy. And my thing is, if they were going to take the lazy route, at bare minimum, make that bitch a workhorse, right? Put a shit, they didn't have to make it the power of like whatever the PS6 is going to be, but give it the power of like the PS5 Pro. So that way, when the PS6 comes out, it won't look as good as the PlayStation 6, but it'll look comparable. They didn't do that. It didn't matter. Niggas lined up overnight at midnight with that GameCube controller tied around their neck. Yoshi had on fucking Master Shield, Master Sword, and a Minish cap on top of the Yoshi hat. Said, give me some of that fucking Nintendo. You niggas is fucking frauds. Guys, you don't have to buy this shit. They love cutting corners just to save a buck. You don't have to buy this shit. Agreed, and make the body of the device cheaper. Yeah, with the Luigi vacuum backpack, bruh. Picking up all the crumbs that you nerds are leaving on the floor, waiting for the niggas went to a midnight release for a goddamn Switch 2 to play nothing. That's the Minish Cap Mafia. So I'm going to keep preaching it until people get it in their fucking head. The biggest problems when it comes to gaming is capitalism, and it's both sides of the spectrum. I'm not just talking about the corporate greed from the suits. Sure, that may be primarily the problem, but you have to remember it takes two to tangle. They can't sell nothing if you ain't buying it.
Zero web browser. Pensive face emoji.
Motherfuckers be talking about, man, I can't get into shape, man. Eating healthy is too expensive, but you got money for fucking new Donkey Kong. You don't got no time to put no lettuce, no tomato, no squash, no oranges, no baked chicken in your body. But you got time for the remastered collection of Breath in the Wild. Cap. Yo, shout out to PJ with the $2 super chat. Appreciate you. Damn, on my Minish Cap, nigga. So, it continues to sell well. I will say, shout out to Cedric with the sub.
Wields that type of power.
Yeah, you got money for fucking skins in Zenless Zone Zero. I will say the confusing thing about this being one of the fastest selling consoles of all time is when it first came out, the first 3 million made sense. And the reason I say the first 3 million made sense is it's a new console, FOMO, people don't want to be left out. But since the Switch 2 has came out, the general consensus seems to be that Mario Kart is underwhelming. People don't like that open world. It's just DLC basically for Mario Kart 8. And Donkey Kong is lit. So we'll give them Donkey Kong. They have 1.5 games. There's really not much to play. There's no reason to be in a rush for this shit. Most of y'all Switch 2s is sitting on the counter. You probably watching my stream with a Switch 2, but not that long because the battery only lasts like an hour and a half. Shit, if you didn't want to put better graphics in there, we couldn't get a better battery technology in that bitch. Let's talk about it. Pokemon don't count for the Switch 2. Pokemon came out on the Switch 1. That's a Switch 1 game, guys. Sure, it looks and runs better on the Switch 2, but that is a Switch 1 game. That don't count. That does not fucking count, bro. Especially because technically the best version of Pokemon Zai is on PC, but y'all not ready for that. Why play Pokemon Zai 1080p 60 FPS on the Switch 2 when you can play it at 4K 120 on PC? But a free ski. Allegedly. I bought it under the assumption that Metroid was dropping soon. I mean, there's a new trailer that dropped for Metroid. I don't know when it's coming out though. Let me see. Even this game is not moving me. I'm not gonna lie. This doesn't feel like it was worth the wait. Like this game is just kind of desolate. At least the last few trailers. The frame rate's dropping right there, guys. I don't know if you noticed that. I want you to pay attention. I'm going to play it again because I spotted it right away. Shout out to Tanley with the sub. Pay attention to the rain. In this next scene, the frame rate was dropping. You see that? There's nothing going on, bruh.
My stalker. Her name is Amy.
Shout out to Big J with the super chat. Appreciate it. Nah, this ain't pre-alpha. This is the final gameplay.
The Switch 2, which is collecting a little bit of dust at the moment. Needed a personal little heater for when winter is here.
I respect accountability. Big J dropped the super chat. He said he's guilty of buying the Switch 2. He fell for the hype, the FOMO. He needed a little heater in the winter because it's collecting dust. But also, to be fair, you didn't have to spend $400. Maybe another $100 or $200 on a new controller in a game. Like basically $600 to get a Switch 2 just to heat up your house in the winter. You could have just got you a torta. Come on, bro. That's free. 3 tacos would have did the same thing for you, bro. I just don't see anything here that's like worth the 10-year or 15. No, it's been like 15 years since the last one. He said the same about Yote and a couple of those trailers, and that game runs smooth as hell. It could be. It could be like earlier footage. Also, Ghost of Yote is a little bit different though, because it could have been running on a base PS5. I got a PS5 Pro and it runs smoothly. There's only one Switch 2. We'll see. Hopefully. I mean, this is a cool little collectible though. Amiibos. I be forgetting this shit exists. I still don't see any. I just I feel like the one thing Nintendo always had going for it is, and like it's always been their design philosophy, where they purposely put out weaker consoles so they can release them at a cheaper market price because they're supposed to be the family friendly console, right? So I respect that. My thing is though, in exchange for the weaker hardware, they've always innovated from a gameplay standpoint. And I feel like I guess that's what it's missing. And that's why I just have no excitement or FOMO towards the Switch 2. There's no innovation here. This is a lazy sequel to the Switch. Like when the Wii released, that shit was pandemonium. People were excited. When the GameCube released, I said the GameCube is probably the greatest console of all time, in my opinion, because it had some of the greatest games of all time, and it also had a handle on the back so you could hit a nigga upside the head. That shit was great, bro. They don't make consoles like that anymore. That shit was a console and a weapon. They don't just like, I expect more from Nintendo, I guess, from a creativity standpoint. And I guess that's why I feel lackluster towards the Switch 2. Shit, even the Wii U, like they tried to do something new, because you could also argue the Wii U is the prototype for the Switch. So they tried to do something there and then they perfected it with the Switch, but this just feels lazy. I miss the PSP. I do too. I hope the rumor is true that they're working on a PSP 2 for the PlayStation 6 to launch alongside it. Because I'm not gonna lie, whatever that costs, I'm probably getting it. I will be going against my own word if it's got good games. If it's got good games, but like PSP is one of my favorite platforms of all time too. Like I don't want to spend the money, but I might turn it to a consumer too, chat. I think they should have made a completely different console. I think they wanted to lean into the idea of the Switch. It was so good selling. It was just hard not to lean into the free promo or whatever. But I don't know. I guess because I grew up as a Nintendo kid, I expect better from them. I would like to see new IPs, new original ideas instead of just constantly leaning on Mario and Zelda. Excuse me. GameCube lost that generation. Yeah, from a financial standpoint, but I wasn't talking about finances. I'm talking about from an art form standpoint. Like me personally, I understand the PlayStation 2 was the winner of that generation and also the greatest selling console of all time. But if you ask me what my personal favorite console was from that era, from an artistic standpoint, it was the GameCube. People, like I said, people have like nostalgia blinders when it comes to the PS2. And context matters. As somebody who was there, the PS2 is the best selling console of all time because it had a DVD player in it. When DVD players cost $1,000, and then it had a gazillion. It also, the PS2, for those unaware, has the largest game library of any generation. That's true, but more doesn't make better. Most of those games were fucking horrible. Like a lot of y'all forget about the goddamn $5 section on GameCube. So like not GameCube, but $5 section in EB Games and GameStop. Most of those games were dog shit, and people just act like because it had more, it was better. I'm strictly talking from an artistic standpoint, but financially, yeah, the PS2 did do better. But like the GameCube, it didn't have as many games, but it had the bangers, bro. It had the bangers. Yeah, they were just pushing out games, and I feel like nostalgia just blinded people a lot to what those games actually were. Movie tie-in games, yeah, for $5 type shit, bro. We also got an update on the lawsuit. If you weren't following yesterday's stream, Nintendo filed a patent against Power World, and that patent failed. A lawsuit against Power World. They were trying to file a patent saying they were the only ones allowed to make Monster Hunter games and monster collecting games. And the gaming community didn't like that shit. They lost that lawsuit. It got thrown out. They're back now after the L, and now they're filing another patent inside of the United States. So basically, if you're not following this, instead of being able to take their L, they said, okay, well, we couldn't win this lawsuit in Japan. The laws are, for those unaware, patent, copyright, and trademark laws vary country to country. That's why finding One Piece will never be stopped, because them servers in Russia and other Asian countries. Oh, no, I hit the... That's why you can never stop streaming. By the way, I wasn't calling Russia an Asian country, but like just other countries where there are some certain countries have lax copyright laws, right? allegedly. This is why you cannot stop it. So they tried to stop it in Japan. So now they're trying to file a lawsuit in the United States. I already read this one. Because to be fair, the United States is the biggest market in terms of like a lot of consumer products. Americans, we have a consumerism problem. So they're like, all right, if we can't slow the money in Japan, let's try to slow the money in the United States. So they're back at it. We will be keeping an eye on to see how this plays out, but I don't see it boding well for Nintendo. Like, you guys just need to let people make monster capturing games. You guys aren't the only ones allowed to make that shit. And also, your games would do better if you just made better games. Like, stop worrying about the fucking competition to make your games better. Oops. It said .ru. Yeah, they're taking the Drake strategy. They're going out bad. And it's funny because I just talked about like what I loved about Nintendo as a kid is they were always the creative of the big 3 or 4 at the time. And it feels like they're getting away from that creativity as time goes on, and they're just focused on trying to preserve what's popular. I would not be surprised in the future if Nintendo's focus goes to just focusing on expanding the Nintendo cinematic universe and just trying to make a shit ton of money off of their IPs in the movies, and then the games become kind of which would be unfortunate. Yeah, they became the villain. They did, unfortunately. They became the villain. And then last but not least, EA promises to maintain creative control in its post-buyout era, but the list of culture values it plans to keep doesn't mean much at all. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, for those who have not been following the story, EA recently sold out to an investment firm owned by the Saudis, as well as Jared Kushner. If you're not familiar with who that is the son-in-law of Trump. That's right. Trump now owns part of Intel, EA, and a bunch of other companies. Start talking about politics, TBH. Start talking about politics. It's not a good thing, usually. And EA already fucking sucks. So people were worried about the company becoming different. I said, if they do fuck shit up, can we just get out the last Star Wars game, the third one, the Jedi, whatever it's going to be called? Just finish the series and then EA can go down. We're so far removed from Mass Effect. I prefer you guys don't even put it out and fuck up the franchise even more. Let's just get that Jedi out and we're good after that. I don't trust EA. EA is trying to allay a lot of those fears from the buyout and a new FAQ for employees from October 30th. The company promised that it was still in a strong financial position, despite the matter of a $20 billion in debt that will maintain creative control. I think that's the most surprising thing about this sellout. They didn't need to. EA is doing great. They had 4 of the top 10 best-selling games in 2024. Last I checked, they were worth $50 billion and then they sold out to make more. Like, they're so fucking greedy. They don't care that they're one of the richest companies in the gaming space. They say we need to get richer over its projects, even in the new era of private ownership. At least Ubisoft sold to survive, like, because they can't get it together. These niggas sold because they're just greedy. They say we need more bonuses. It also promises to maintain a thoughtful, steady approach to AI. That's another problem too for those who haven't been following. They said they're about to heavily implement AI into EA. After stories circulated about new owners planning to make heavy use of the tech. What does that mean in practice? Your guess is as good as mine. Found out the new Mass Effect was still in early pre-production. Yeah, that shit ain't coming out anyway, anytime soon. That's why I said, bruh, I'd rather them just not put it out. They announced that game way too soon. When it comes to EA, the only thing I care about in the future, we already got Battlefield 6. That's cool, great game. Finish the Jedi series after that. I don't give a fuck what goes on with EA, bruh. They can go downhill after that. The consortium believes in our vision, says EA, referring to its new owners, our leadership and the strength of our team. They're investing in EA because they believe we are uniquely positioned to lead the future of entertainment. The FAQ also points out that the Saudi Arabia's public investment fund has been a significant stockholder in EA and the broader gaming industry for many years already. But now, if you're worried, if you don't follow, world politics and you're wondering why Saudi firms being invested, some people are worried about that, as people are worried about censorship. The laws in the Middle East are different. And also, I feel like people are putting too much blame on them. You also have to look at, like I said, it's the Saudis that invested in EA, but also Jared Kushner's firm as well, which is the son-in-law of Trump. And what are they pushing right now in the United States? Christian nationalism. Now, this is no disrespect to anybody who's religious or Christian, because that's something completely different from Christian nationalism. We have to understand that. And if the son-in-law of Trump, the right-hand man, is a Christian nationalist, that also means that is another form of potential censorship. I feel like people are not thinking about this. Yes, there is a difference, and I want to make it. There is a difference between a real Christian. A real Christian would want people to get fed. They wouldn't be upset about SNAP. Anybody who's celebrating people who can't eat are not fucking Christians. Yeah, I said it. I fucking said it. Niggas love to talk about Jesus, never opened a fucking Bible. Thank you for separating the two. I try to be thoughtful and tactful about the things I say. I know the fucking difference. I suspect the FAQ is probably right when it suggests, in kinder language, the EA's new owner care first and foremost about making money regardless of how reactionary their personal politics are. And if they can make bank selling queerness and female leads, well, they'll probably do that. I suspect most people nervous about what this buyout means for EA won't find that particularly calming, though I sure they don't. Greed is much poorer foundation than solidarity for building equality. The language EA uses in this FAQ also seems noteworthy, elaborating on how it will continue to maintain creative control. The studio says, we will continue to be guided by our cultural values of creativity, pioneering, passion, determination, learning, and teamwork. That's what they say until things don't start working. That's what they say until them sales on Madden start the dip, the sales on college football start the dip. Who's to say the new leadership doesn't put their hand in the, maybe we should lean a little bit more this way, and maybe we should do things a little bit. These motherfuckers don't know shit about video games, bro. I have no reason to say they're lying, but that's how things are working for now. And if you know anything about business, it comes in ebbs and flows. You're going to have ups and downs. Right now, EA is up. That's why they were able to sell for so much, because their value is so high on this company. What happens when that shit dips? I also predict what they're going to do is probably just milk what's already working, which is FIFA, Madden, college football, and the MVP bundle. And it's going to continue to get worse, especially because they locked it in for 5 more years with Madden. It'll get even worse, and I could see things going downhill. I played both Jedi games this year, and it reinvigorated my love for Star Wars. Yeah, they're some of the best pieces of Star Wars media in recent memory. They are. I had to argue with my friends with buying games, and I told them, like, don't buy it later, buy it now so they can continue the game. They don't listen. Well, you know, to be fair, you know, people got budgets. I would say if it's within your budget and you're interested in something, then yeah, support it when it comes out. If you can't support it when it first comes out, you know, wait a few months to when it drops $40, $50. Like, try to get it around the launch within like the first year or two. But like buying a game 8 years after it came out, that's why I always brag on that argument about that dude that made that TikTok saying gaming is dead. And then he brought up Sleeping Dogs. And I'm like, Sleeping Dogs failed because nobody bought it when it first came out. Matter of fact, I remember I put out a review about that game praising how great it was because I love that game. Nobody bought it. It became popular like 10 years later. It's a cult classic. We have to stop letting things become a cult classic, and we have to start making things classics. A cult classic is something that's popular amongst a niche audience, and they fucking die for it. They love it. But you got to support things financially, you know? You can't wait till the fucking studio collapses. That helps us nobody. The only person that makes money off of Sleeping Dogs now, because some of y'all might be wondering, well, where's the money for Sleeping Dogs go if the studio collapsed? It goes to the publisher. It doesn't help the people that made the game. It's just like it's like residuals. They just collect the check off that shit now. Art costs money. Yeah, I get it. You got. I would say, because you can't be like, you need to buy now. You got. I would say find that healthy balance. Support the arts where you can. That's the last article I got for y'all. Like I said, it's kind of a slow day. I'm gonna save this joint and my other joints. I'm gonna go in the sub box real quick. Let's see what's going on. No, Black Hook. Looking forward to the movie, TBH, for Sleeping Dogs. There's a movie coming out? I thought he was like joking about that. I'm working my way through Metaphor. Been waiting for a decent sell. It's been a ton of fun. 30 hours in. Tight shit. It's solid. It's solid. Nah, he was dead ass. Well, until I see a trailer. You know, seeing is believing for me. Let's see. Minecraft Dragon Ball. Invincible Monster Girl gameplay overview. The Crew Motorfest Season 8. Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes 10th anniversary. Whoa. Thank you for going over the game news. Somebody got to do it. Darwin Paradox official gameplay trailer. Just got a gaming laptop. Trying to make Baldur's Gate 3 my first purchase. That should be cheap right now. Yeah, it hurts to see some of these games drop in price 4 or 5 months later. Look at Nier Automata. It's still damn near full price. Yeah, I think that's the crazy part about people complaining about games being expensive, $70, $80. Because if you're willing to wait 4 or 5 months for a game, especially because a lot of y'all backlogs are really large, usually the price of games drop 50% or more. And these studios are still existing, so you're still supporting them. This is why I say it's a great time to be a gamer if you have self-control. You got the fucking Game Pass, PlayStation Plus, all these free-to-play games, AAA games that are on sale. I was like, y'all don't understand. When I was a goddamn kid, a game came out, it was 50, 60 bucks. And it was 50 or 60 bucks for like 2 years before it was a sale, because there was a lot less games coming out outside of the PlayStation 2. But there's so many games coming out now. There's so much competition. You can use that to your advantage as a consumer. I don't know how it works on PlayStation and Xbox, but on PC, if you have Steam, if there's any game you're interested in and you're not willing to pay full price for it, add it to your Steam wish list. I don't know if you guys are aware of this. You add it to your Steam wish list because it'll notify you whenever the game goes on sale. So then when you see it go on sale and you see it at a price that you like, you can get it. The tools are there. You got to fucking use them. Or you could just do the Steam sales. But yeah, I have a bunch of games on wish list because in my head, I'm like, I'm not paying $70 for this. I'll pay $30 for it. You're still supporting the studio. Have you heard about the Max Payne remake? Nah, I haven't heard nothing about that. What's that? When's that supposed to come out? Steam added a calendar for wishlist too. Take advantage of your tools. Pigeon Simulator. Are you fucking kidding me? War Robots Frontier. I'm not gonna lie, I did that with Baldur's Gate 3. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with that, bruh. Bruh, talk to them, games would never go on sale back in the day. Never. The only games that went on sale back in the day were the games that absolutely nobody wanted. Those movie tie-in games in the $5 bin at EB Games. But everything else that was AAA, you had to wait a year or two. It took a while for that shit to go on sale. That's part of the reason we used to play the hell out of our games. We used to replay them all the goddamn time. Star Wars Ghosts and Goblins. That'll pass. All right, that's all the trailers. All right, let's look at these joints. Fast and the Furious games. You had to wait for Black Friday for real? For real? Yeah, I remember when I was a kid, the only time I really got new games was either on my birthday or Christmas. And my birthday was never guaranteed because it really depended on when the family was doing financially. Christmas is that time of the year where it doesn't matter how your family's doing. Usually they'll try to find a way to get you a gift, but my birthday was always 50-50. The only time I really got games was Christmas, bro. Like, and you would play them games all goddamn. It's part of the reason why I'm so fucking good at Smash Bros. Because when the GameCube came out, I remember it was like a good year or two. All I played was Smash Bros. 2 and Luigi's Mansion. Not Smash Bros. 2, but Smash Bros. Melee and Luigi's Mansion. That's all I had on my GameCube, and I would play the fuck out that game. And because the game and its DNA hasn't changed that much from different iterations, I can always hop on and still be decent at the game, bro. Got so bored you had to play against level 9 computer for fun. Like, because there was no online. Let's look at Monster Girl.
The smallest, but mostly the biggest character in the game is Monster Girl.
Laugh my ass off. I don't miss those days. I don't either.
She's an adult woman in a always growing younger teenage body who can also transform into a gigantic green hulking monster.
I don't look it, but I'm 24 years old.
Favorite thing about Monster?
I used to have a local mom and pops. Yeah, that's I feel bad for some of y'all too that are younger. Some of y'all were born like Gen Z and then Gen Alpha, obviously. Unless you're on the older side of Gen Z, you might remember, maybe not, because even still, that was when I was really young. That's really like my parents' generation. But when I was really young, there was a lot of mom and pop video game stores. And then you even had some smaller chains like Funkoland in the Midwest. The problem is GameStop came along and bought out everything. And that was a great era of gaming too. Because although you couldn't get sales, if you had a mom and pops, you could get good trade-ins. Or you could find sales in the mom and pops because they were much more down to earth. They just wanted you to enjoy the culture. But we lost a lot of the mom and pop stores because of that. And that's another reason why it's always World War GameStop over here to me. Some of y'all, yeah, we had Toys R Us too, KB Games, but those are chains. I'm talking about mom and pops, like the Funko Lands. That's why it's always World War GameStop over here. They fucking destroyed. They Walmarted the gaming industry, and it reduced competition, which made things worse.
Girl is her attitude. Take no crap from anybody, snarky.
She's both sassy and capable. I think one of my favorite moments of
nowadays, you can only find mom and pops for like retro stores, and they be taxing on that shit.
And she very quickly handles the misconception that he has of her.
Aw, look at her, she's adorable.
Still think I'm adorable.
We know who the character is, man. Show the game.
Smash 'em up character.
Monster Girl was one of actually, I think, the easier characters to translate into a fighting game because she's a big, gigantic monster that screams like, let me punch something.
There's just a bunch of weight and momentum that's coming right at you that is really gonna hurt.
In the show, Amanda, Monster Girl's alter ego, is one of the biggest shit talkers.
Isn't there like an age requirement for this ride?
I don't know, you're here. Isn't there a dick size requirement?
I believe she can be a cerebral assassin. She gets underneath people's skin.
Really like Monster Girl's taunt. She sort of like hunches over and she does this little motion where she says, too small.
She's a brawler striker. She has a lot of armored moves.
She's throwing really powerful.
Ooh, that might be at my speed. Love them armor moves. She a grappler?
To the ground.
She does this charge from across the screen. Leads to a really nice, satisfying wall slam, where you can then use that as an opportunity to juggle characters.
I don't think she is.
She's got this great attack where she like runs into someone, grabs them, and throws them. And I think she says like, "Where you going? Nowhere."
Oh, she does have grappling. Okay.
And her torch special, just a flurry of just devastating heavy punches.
Her down heavy, where she
Wait, these are the original Killer Instinct devs? Yeah, this game is being made by the people who made Killer Instinct. That's why I'm confused why some people are like, oh, this game's gonna be ass. I'm like, do you know who's making this? You may not like the art style, but the mechanics will be sound.
The defender and throws them up into the air. It's a really good moment where you can get a combo started.
Granted, there's an entire generation that didn't play Killer Instinct, because to be fair, Killer Instinct's heyday was the Super Nintendo, and the N64. Those are my most fond memories with Killer Instinct. It did come out for the Xbox One, but it didn't do as well because the Xbox One failed. Not because it was a bad game. It was good, but the Xbox One just didn't do well. I feel like the only memory I have of the Xbox One version of Killer Instinct is with LTG. He said, "In the combo, in the ultra."
Plants them.
But it's a fun game.
Into the ground.
Another fucking Django.
She actually, after jumping up into the air to deal like
Saber
a final
Wolf,
blow, turns back into her Amanda form.
Let's wrap this up. Oh, you did your best.
It definitely feels like it harkens back to a little bit of like the baddest and coolest of like pro wrestling sort of stuff.
I think it reflects.
Killer Instinct 2013 is underrated. It is underrated, I think. It was on the wrong platform, unfortunately.
Combo paths and routes that you can take. Using boosted specials within your combos, you can do longer combo chains.
Using your team well to find those zoning moments and having Monster Go get in and just lock down the characters so you can set up some really fun plays.
Any lineup that you want to put nothing but immense pressure on someone's like, pair her with Battle Beast.
So pairing her with Beast and that sort of like mace swing that he's got, calling in Monster Girl, and then having her run
we faced
into you.
LTG back then? No, it's a clip on YouTube.
That sounds like a really
from his streams.
Monster Girl.
Peace out, Azrael.
I'm so excited with
You hear
how
that,
everything turned
Shadow?
out.
Get off my man Sonic's dick!
It's pretty good. Register for the upcoming closed alpha at closedalpha.invincible.com. I can see so many controllers broken with this game. Yeah, it's gonna have a crazy combo system. It looks fun to me. I just think that like they gotta be wary about when they release this, because it's gonna be 3 or 4 fighting games coming out in 2026. It's gonna be a lot of competition. And this one could unfortunately get lost in translation. I don't know if the Invincible IP is as big as it's not as Marvel. It's big, it's gotten bigger, but it's not. Marvel just, Marvel is Marvel. And then you got 2XKO there too. But I'm hoping it does good. Did you notice no PC closed alpha? I didn't notice. Marvel Token's gonna be Topo, the big dog next year. The big dog. You playing all of them? I'll probably try them all. Yeah, I'll probably try them all. What up, Haya? Welcome to the streams. Glad to see you woke up from your 2013 nap. All right, what else we got? Darwin's Paradox. Always one in the chat. It's always one. I thought this game looked pretty decent. I think this is that platform, right? Shout out to Manny with the sub.
This should be enough money for TBH to pop a brick for Dr. Eggman.
Don't forget about Avatar. I'm 100% forgetting about Avatar. On that mini clip premium game. I seen somebody say I was a hypocrite in the comment section of Hokage Highlight. Because and he was paraphrasing, I guess, something I said. He said I shouldn't judge a game based off of like its graphics. I always bring that up. It's more about the gameplay and like the performance. And yeah, that's true. I wasn't 100% judging the game Avatar off of its graphics. Like the art does look cheap to me. Don't get it twisted. But I was also taught, and I felt like I was clear, but maybe y'all missed it. The art in that Avatar fighting game looks cheap, but also the animations. I was 100% judging the gameplay. The game looks fucking cheap to me. And I think Avatar is the greatest cartoon, deserves better. Like, I don't understand what's wrong with that, bruh. That shit like an iPad tablet. Yeah, I was judging the gameplay. What are you talking about, dude? I'm 100% hating on Avatar. We're talking about Avatar here. Why can't we not get a good Avatar game? Y'all just be so excited. I feel like the Avatar community that wants a game, they fall symptom to the same thing the anime community does, where like they just accept any type of arena fighter. People just be excited when any type of game or TV show or movie expands upon the Avatar universe. And that's how we end up getting slop like fucking The Legend of Korra by Platinum Games. How the fuck did the same company that made Bayonetta made that goofy ass shit? Should have been like Dragon Ball Fighters. I like the art style in this. I feel like this is a game I might play off stream because nobody will care about this shit. The Avatar fighting game will be game of the year. Big J just donated a super chat. He said the Avatar game will be the game of the year. All right, buddy. These are the type of games where this looks like a fun, quirky platformer. But like a lot of people will call this shit corny and never play it, even though it looks like a good game. Like this is gonna be, I wouldn't be surprised if this has the same effect as Astrobot. Man, that shit corny, bro. That shit for little kids, bro. Like, what the fuck mad in that, bro? And you just want to argue with the super chat. This would be a good like Switch 2 game, like a good portable game. I think it looks cool. It looks like it's gonna be potentially funny because like what the fuck is this squid doing, bruh? This reminds me of the Oddworld games. I get that vibe too. It's being published by Konami. Did Konami publish Oddworld? I think it looks fun. A good nephew gift game. Good game for kids too, yeah. Yeah, it's published by Konami. What the y'all get the point of this joint. Let me see. That one's Darwin's Paradox. This is the next big Konami game. I'll probably be able to play this one because I got to connect with Konami now. Like you say, it only takes one popular streamer to hype up an Avatar game. That's the only way I see that Avatar fighting game being successful. A streamer hypes that shit up and then people will be on that game's dick. It's not that bad now that I think about it. What is this? Drown Light? Oh, hell no. A water colony game? What the hell? Management game? Rebuild a water colony. As long as it's not that dude playing Crackdown 3. I think the irony of games like this, like for me, I'm not gonna ever call these games trash. They're just not for me. RTSs or games where you got to manage civilizations and stuff like that, it's not for me. But what I will say that I do find very ironic is people who love games like this, they love managing cities and the lives of other peoples, but these niggas' lives be a mess, bruh. Be fucking Cheetos everywhere. Fucking you 1 point away from getting fired from Walmart because you always your life is a mess, but you will manage the hell out of a fucking city. Like, nigga, you live like this? What? I gotta manage the game. Chill on me, TBH. I'm in college playing. Look, see, he told on himself. We respect the honesty. He told on himself. Can't manage your life, but you'll manage the life in the game, bro. That shit is fucking funny. Got a multi-billion-dollar roller coaster park, bro. Got $5 in his bank account, bro. Let's talk about Pigeon Simulator. Now, this is a real gamer's game. Who wants to play it? Who is this for? Oh, Melody said it's for me. That was a 5-second trailer. Hey, November 11th is coming to Game Pass. Pigeon Simulator. If you ever wanted to play, be a pigeon. It's different, bruh. Full Sail Team Project. Why not have all these different Sims out? Might as well. Nah, you're right. It's so many different Sims now. so many different sim games. Like they're just making anything. And hey, I can't be mad at them because if it sells, it sells. A lot of these sim games, they be selling, bro. And some of them are surprisingly fun. Like I said, I was shocked when I liked Water Pressure Simulator, bro. You just run around the house cleaning it with a water pressure. I'm like, this is pretty fun. I wouldn't want to do this in real life, but not bad. It's pretty relaxing. I don't know what it is. Put some music on and just vibe out. This is a high IQ type of game, type shit. Okay. Maybe I can. Maybe my pee-wee brain can't comprehend this shit. It can't comprehend this shit. Damn, I need to make a pigeon simulator. Somebody made a game called Banana, and it was one of the best-selling games on PlayStation a few months ago. And it was literally just a picture of a banana. Anybody can do it. Anybody can fucking do it. All right, let's get on this goddamn game. I'm gonna take a bathroom break and then we finna get on the game. Not sure if it showed this, but you probably hate this game. But seeing Bayonetta up-to-date graphics looks insane. What's this real quick? The First Descendant. Fuck no. You know, it's funny. When I went to the gym yesterday, so somebody said in the chat yesterday while I was streaming, they saw a First Descendant TV commercial. I said, how the fuck is that possible when that game dead as hell, bro? The First Depressant. What money they got to run a TV commercial? Yesterday, I swear to God, I went to the gym after the stream and there was on the TV a First Depressant commercial. I said, oh my God, these niggas is not lying. They're running TV ads. Where the fuck are they getting money for this shit, bro? I don't know how, because ain't nobody playing that game. And if you are buying skins in that game, you are weird.